What up, y'all? Josh Sammy here. Thank you all so much once again for tuning in. As I always say, please remember to hashtag release the Snyder Cut. Show some love to hashtag release the Ayer Cut. Give a little support to hashtag release the Kimberg Cut. Show a little love to hashtag Alita Army, hashtag Alita Sequel. And with that being said, let's get right into it. We've reached a point where we know things are happening. We've reached a point where we know things are coming. And we've reached a point where most of us, but not all of us, have accepted things are what they are and things will be what they will be. A few weeks ago, many of you took part in making the hashtag trend again, only this time it was Zack Snyder's Justice League, hashtag Zack Snyder's Justice League. And then there was yet another event that came about making the hashtag trend again. As it should be called Zack Snyder's Justice League because that's what it is. Hold on, let me get a sip of this juice. Oh, yes. But anyway, so like I said, many of us contributed to helping making the hashtag trend. David Ayer has been getting harassed about a damn near 4-year-old movie on Twitter. Hence why I say hashtag release the Ayer Cut. I would genuinely like to see it. Even though I like Suicide Squad to a degree, I would still like to see his intended vision, given that there is an assembly cut with totally different footage and more Joker from Jared Leto. A lot of things have been happening, and it points and signifies that we're almost there. We're very, very, very close. We're within reach. We're at first and goal, only we're not the Seahawks in this case. So, with all that is happening, with all that has happened, with all that has continued to happen by people like a Gail Simone, who suddenly has changed her tone on Twitter. Thank you, Gail Simone. To guys like Andy Signor and Jody's Corner, who, thankfully we've left all that in the past. To the randoms on Twitter and elsewhere who still like to debate and talk negative. My brothers, my sisters, verily I say to you all, there will be justice. And not only that, but to echo the words of our fellow brothers like Ray Fisher, like Jason Momoa, like the man himself, Zack Snyder, do not lose hope and keep doing what you're doing. I know it's hard, and I know that the negativity, the repeatedly debunked negativity, and the repeated harassment by some individuals, certain individuals, like, again, Gail Simone, who thankfully changed her tone, it is very frustrating for fans. It is very disheartening as a fan. And like I said in a video I made a few weeks back, people are getting fed up. Because no one should be made to feel bad about enjoying something that another person may not enjoy or may not care for. And beyond all that, in terms of Zack Snyder's Justice League, I said Zack Snyder's Justice League. Zack Snyder's Justice League. In regards to that, in the words of my brother Star-Lord, We'll just keep his name anonymous because some of y'all online are very, 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 very weird. I've learned that these past couple of years. In the words of him, if you're a fan of movies in general, and if you respect creative freedom and artistic integrity, why wouldn't you want this movie to come out, knowing all that we know? You see, guys, there are still people who throw out the "it doesn't exist" narrative. You should move on to better things. Why can't you like this movie? Why can't you like this movie instead? I love Reese and you should too. That's all fine and dandy. That's great. I'm happy you have something you enjoy. But why can't you allow me to enjoy this thing without it being an issue? And this is why I say, at the end of the day, all we really have are each other. And no, I'm not getting all SpongeBob sentimental. That's just the facts. At the end of the day, all we really have are each other. We're in this together. And so, with that said, no matter when the next event is, no matter when the next plan to make the hashtag go viral yet again on Twitter or wherever, this is something that needs to be tackled more consistently, more adamantly. Josh Samuel, you use such big words. You're damn right. In spite of how you may feel about a certain someone or a certain individual, my young brother, my young sister, my in-betweener, who I have all love for as well, make that hashtag trend and let it carry on. Because at the end of the day, my brothers, my sisters, we still don't know much. We don't know the status, sadly, of Henry Cavill as Superman. We don't know, even though it's highly unlikely, we don't know the status of Ezra Miller as Barry Allen in this universe. Because beyond the Snyder Cut, ladies and gentlemen, I want to see Ray Fisher continue playing Cyborg. I want to see Henry Cavill. I speak for the entire world. I want to see Henry Cavill continue playing Superman. With all love to my brother Michael B. Jordan, I want to see Zack Snyder finish his trilogy. And with Warner Media and AT&T and HBO Max being the avenue that they are, that will be the perfect avenue, street, or alleyway for this all to come to fruition. And ultimately, in the grand scheme of things, if you look at things from the perspective, it all would make more sense that way, if they did it that way. Not to say I would not go see it in theaters, because God knows I would love to see it in theaters. But with the digital age that we live in and technology rapidly changing and movie theaters obviously being shut down now, can you imagine how quickly HBO Max would break the minute AT&T, Warner Brothers, and HBO Max and Zack, first and foremost, announced that it's coming? You know what I mean? But beyond that, my brothers, my sisters, I continue to say adamantly, do not lose hope. Keep up the fight. Keep the hashtags trending. I try to hashtag all the hashtags I mentioned as much as I possibly can. But sometimes it's best to save those respective hashtags for certain respective posts, videos, tweets, or whatever, what have you. But regardless, it's all love either way. When I say release the Kimberg cut, hashtag Alita sequel, hashtag Alita Army, it's all love either way. I do want to see Alita get a sequel, knowing that, having just seen Dark Phoenix recently, knowing that there's a cut of Dark Phoenix that's an appropriate time, that has a whole different third act and different characters in it. I would love to see what Simon Kinberg intended. I'm not making these words rhyme intentionally, by the way. But yeah, I would love to see what Simon Kinberg intended. And once again, to echo the words that have been said by not just myself, my brother, and many others, if you respect artistic integrity and creative freedom, you should want this, not just the Snyder Cut, you should want these things to happen. And this is what bugs me the most personally when I see certain comic creators and certain others that have that type of position bash and try and ridicule the Snyder Cut. And like I said, people are naturally confused and bothered because we don't think the way they do. We're so passionate about something, and chances are their life ain't all that dandy. So they say to themselves, who does this person think they are to hashtag something like this? Let me get online and mock that person. Let me get online and tweet some stuff to piss people off so I can draw attention to myself, make myself look good. Oh, if Superman had did this. Oh, if this movie had did this. You know, we've seen it all. We've seen literal hell. We've seen it all. And just like in the fantastic John Wick trilogy starring the amazing Keanu Reeves, shout out to him, there's a quote or a line in that movie that sticks out to me every time, and it goes something like, if you want peace, prepare for war. And I'm not saying that we're guns a-blazing, cowboys and Indians, yeehaw, honky tonk, or nothing like that. But to have the bravery, to have the motivation, and to continuously stand up for what you believe in this case, the Snyder Cut, is something that cannot be unnoticed and has not been unnoticed, and something that will never be forgotten. You know what I'm saying? It honestly reminds me of hip hop albums like the Carter. For those of you fellow hip hop listeners, Dwayne Michael Carter, aka Lil Wayne, went through something similar way back in 2014 when his album The Carter 5 was set to release at a specific time frame. This man literally went through hell for years, and a bunch of people, were tweeting free C5 or release the Carter 5. It was again over money disputes, not quite like the Snyder Cut or the Kimberg Cut or whatever, but finally it came out. Something similar happened with another gentleman, Lupe Fiasco, who had a multitude of fans come out and protest the record label, and they came out and announced that his album would be coming out. So when a person decides to try and, again, ridicule, bother, pester, terrorize, harass, bug you as a fan, remember the power that you have by being a fan. Just being on Twitter, hashtagging release the Snyder Cut, and showing your continued love, support, and admiration. No voice is too small, no voice goes unheard, and everything is being seen. Literally everything is being seen. And with that said, Josh Samuel out. Love.